Hey guys, welcome back to another Virgo Girl recommendation. And today's recommendation is none other than Maestro. Okay, so this movie was brilliantly done. And I'm going to start off by saying I had no idea Bradley Cooper was this talented. I knew he was a great actor, but I mean, man, he exceeded my expectations on this movie by far. So basically, not only did he pull off totally transforming into Leonard Bernstein and not missing a beat, I completely forgot about Bradley Cooper. And it was just, I was back in the 30s and it was just Leonard and his music and, all that. And it just, it's crazy how this film just really put you back to the 30s, 40s era. And it seemed as if though everyone involved with making this movie, from the design to the directing to the producing to everything, uh, was someone who actually lived during the 30s and the 40s. That's just how believable it was. And that's the simplest way I can put it. It was just believable. And it looked like the movies that were made back then. I loved that they did the black and white, but they didn't want to overwhelm you. So they did black and white and color. I thought that was such a superb thing to do because of the cinematography, the way the movie was done. They did it in a way, and I don't know all the terms or, exactly how to articulate what they did, but they filmed it in a way that was similar to movies that you would see from like the 30s and the 40s. That's how they did it. That's how the movie was kind of shot, if you will, in my opinion. Um, it was so believable. I mean, it just really was. And in my mind, there was nothing modern about it. And I say that with sheer happiness. There was nothing that made me think of anything modern. Everything was perfectly done to make me think about the olden days, like back then when things were different. Just everything was executed perfectly. That's all I can say. Just from the way the characters spoke, the way they articulated themselves, the way they moved, the way they talked about things, just everything. Even the way they reacted to certain things. Just everything was just so spot on for that period of time from what, I've seen on other movies and just in general, just, through history and all that. At any rate, Bradley Cooper. So Bradley Cooper to me, first of all, when I think of Bradley Cooper, I think of very handsome man and I think of funny, because I think he's very funny and I think he's like drop dead gorgeous. That's when I think of Bradley Cooper. He was able to transform into something that made me totally forget both of those things about him. He transformed into this person who was like, first of all, a lot of the scenes he was like super old, and everything about the makeup, he looked like an old man. I mean, I just can't even explain to you guys what a wonderful job he did in his appearance. Let's start with that. Secondly, the acting and the fact that he actually directed the movie at the same time and he acted in it. Oh my gosh. Let me just go ahead and clap it up for him. Kudos, kudos, kudos. Bring out all the awards and present them to these people. They deserve it. This was a film of such high quality and it was so well done. It's something that you don't see every day. What a high quality film. It's one of the ones that from the beginning, I saw that they presented Leonard to me in his natural state. I love how they kind of started it off. So they started it off with him, I think just being him. I think that's truly who he was like inside. And then comes this woman and, Felicia. I don't know if it's, or I don't know if it's Felicia or Felicia. I can't remember how they pronounced it in the movie. Um, but at any rate, his wife, she came through and just totally captured your heart, took over, and them side by side equally killed it, period. So she was this woman who was just, I feel like when she first met him, it was like she was kind of like, she knew who she was. She was basically a free thinker, if you will, to a certain extent. And I felt like she was someone who was a bit open minded. Comment below if you've seen it and you feel the same way. I thought she was pretty open minded, especially for that time. And I think I attribute that to her also being in the entertainment industry. People in the entertainment industry tend to be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more liberal, if you will, with things. So I kind of attributed to that, but at the same time, uh, yeah, she just seemed like a remarkable woman. That's all I can say about her. That's what comes to mind when I think about this lady. Another thing that comes to mind with this, because this was like a love story between the two, the ups and downs, the challenges. I thought this was an example of someone who truly met someone, fell in love, and accepted that person for who they were. And again, I attributed that as well to her being in an industry where, you know, people are a certain way, you know, and it's kind of hard to find connections that are genuine and that stick and that, you know, you can just be yourself and, you know, all of that. So I felt like because of the industry that they both were in, it was like they were kind of each other's soulmates despite the outside things that were going on in their lives, if you will. They just clicked. It's like they were just like best friends, if you will, for, you know, like when they met. And I think it was kind of like such a good feeling to be able to kind of let your hair down and be yourself, especially on the end of Leonard. I felt he really, I accepted her and loved her because it seemed that she was the one who was allowing him to be themselves. And I think in life, that's what most people are looking for. Someone where they can just be themselves, don't have to put on airs, don't have to do anything, but just be themselves. I mean, I think that's the ultimate goal in a partner. Well, one of the, you know, of course, that's one of the things. It's not everything, but that's a very important part of being in a relationship with someone, being comfortable in your own skin, and they too being comfortable with you just being yourself. And that's, you know, pretty much the premise of how everything started. But as time went on, it's funny how it shows how, I guess, at some point in life, you kind of start feeling like, and I think everyone can kind of relate to this at some point, people kind of start taking your kindness for weakness, if you will. And that's the best way I can kind of describe to me how it looked like things played out. You know, you give someone an inch, they take a mile kind of thing. And that's pretty much how things went with them. But you also saw how it was from both perspectives, but the perspective of the person who, I guess, seemed to kind of get the short end of the stick, if you will. It kind of seemed like it was like going more towards the wife. And then you kind of thought back to, well, you were the one that was okay with this guy being himself. You were okay with accepting him for who he was, kind of thing. So it kind of makes you think, like, it takes you on a roller coaster. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't want to give out spoilers, but because you're thinking to yourself, but at this guy, and then you kind of think like, dang, he really does love her. Like there's points where you're like, wow, he's a good guy. He really loves her. He truly loves her. But, you know, there's like this big but. And, you know, even with her, it's like, she loves him, but, you know, like, and then you get to thinking, isn't that just life though? You know, because in life, everyone has their ups and downs. No one is going to be perfect. So I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where it's like I'm conflicted a bit because in my deep down in my heart, I feel like they both definitely loved each other and they were soulmates. And I'm glad that they were there for each other. But at the same time, with everything that was going on, I'm kind of just like, oh my God, were they the best for each other? You know, like in some points, I was just so conflicted with the story, but the story was so deep and the acting was superb. So the lady who played the wife, of course, we already talked about Bradley Cooper, who, you know, I can't say enough about positively. But the lady that played his wife was Carrie Mulligan, and she, wow, all I can say is wow. She really invoked emotions. You know, like she really did the type of acting that had you feeling it. It like came straight out of the screen and touched you right in the heart and in the mind, you know? Like everything she did was phenomenal. She did a magnificent job. She nailed it 100, 1000%. Here's how you know when people are amazing actors. And I was thinking about this as I was watching it. It's so funny how you feel the emotion. You feel them being sad. And they're just on screen talking. But why is it that I feel these emotions? It's because they're damn good actors. That's why you feel that. That's why you can, like when you feel the tension, you feel, you know, you feel emotional. You feel like, oh my God, you going through the motions with the actors. That's what I call great acting. And that's when I feel that it's time to break out the awards. I feel like they, you know, did what was supposed to do. This is worth the price of admission. This is what we're looking for when we sit down to watch a movie. We want to feel it. We want to, you know, be immersed in it. And we don't want to feel like it's just fake and phony and it's acting like they're acting. We want to feel like it's real and we want to feel like it's just, you know, genuine. And I felt like I was watching Leonard and Francine. I did not feel like, I'm sorry, not Francine, I meant Felicia. I did not feel like I was watching um, actors like Bradley and Carrie pretending to be them. And again, I want to reiterate, I'm not sure. I watched the movie, but now that I'm coming back to do the review, I apologize if I'm saying her name wrong. If it's not Felicia, I if it's Felicia, I'm drawing a blank on how they pronounced her name in the movie, but she just did what she was supposed to do. So did all the other actors. I'm not going to go into every single character just because the video will be way too long. But let me just go ahead and let you know all of the actors did a great job. Whoever did the casting, whoever did the set, you know, design, the producing, the directing, all that, you know, phenomenal. I just say phenomenal job. Kudos. Everything was executed perfectly. What I got out of this movie, you know, I think what I got out of it is there is no perfect love story. And I think as soon as everyone realizes that and recognizes that as a fact, I think the divorce rate will go down 100%. No, not 100%, but it'll go down a lot because I think a lot of times in life, there are things that, I mean, there are people who feel like things should just be perfect. And if it's not, then I'm out of here. And that is not a realistic way to live your life. And that's for any type of relationship, friendship, you know, marriage, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. That's not going to work in any situation, no matter what the relationship is. Nothing is perfect. No one is perfect. I think in life, you just have to have, you know, the things that are your, what's the word I'm looking for? Your boundaries. Like, what are the things that you can't take. And I think you need to decide that before you get into something with someone. And if that person, kind of like on this one, if that person is like that, then perhaps maybe you shouldn't give them the benefit of the doubt and accept them for who it is if it's something that's going to destroy you in the end. So if you're just putting on airs, just pretending that something's okay, it may not work, is what I'm trying to say. You know, that's what I kind of got out of this movie. Hopefully that makes sense without spoiling anything. But basically, yeah, I mean, when you say you're going to accept someone for who they are, make sure what you're accepting is something that you can accept yourself. You know, don't just accept it just because you want this person in your life. Make sure it's something that's not going to eat you up later or destroy you later. Because remember, this is someone you have to be with, and whatever it is that you're accepting is something that's going to be a part of your life as well. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up this video. I really just wanted to recommend this movie because it's amazing. It's on Netflix. It's called Maestro, and it's starring Bradley Cooper and, of course, Carey Mulligan. And just watch it. It's 2 hours and 9 minutes, but it goes pretty fast. There are some slow parts in it, but the slow parts are needed because, again, it's kind of like a slower time too. You know, so everything they did was, I feel, calculated. You know, it's like it didn't need to go super fast in some parts. It had to kind of slow down a little bit so you kind of saw the progression of what was going on. You kind of saw how things were in that time, just everything. So it was perfect. Even the slow parts, perfect. It was put in there for a reason. So just watch it and enjoy, and then comment below and let me know what you think about it. Anyway, guys, until next time, don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Peace.